All right, what's up, folks? Welcome to the Forge. We've got two guest hosts tonight because my partner in crime, Jimmy G, is away on vacation for 2 whole weeks. The guys left me. And then the following week, I'm going to be off for my wife's birthday. So we're just going to be a little flippy floppy all over the place for the next 3 weeks, but it's going to be a fantastic show anyway. Tonight's guests are our buddy Derek, Autocorrect Primer, who's been on the show 2 or 3 times before, and the owner of St. Mark's Comics, Nicholas Prime, down below. So, Nick, I'm going to let you introduce yourself first, and then Derek, because people know who he is. So, welcome to the show, my friend. Master Farr, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, what's going
No,
on?
I'm saying hi to the people in the chat.
I see.
My bad. Nicholas, please introduce yourself. Tell us about St. Mark's Comics and all that you are.
Okay. Well, my name's Nick. I'm a big nerd. Have been for a long time. I collect a lot of Transformers, and I own a comic shop. It's St. Mark's Comics in New York City. Depending on how you count, the shop's been around 40 years or 3.5 years. I worked at the original shop for 15 years, left to do my own thing for a while. They closed in 2019, and then I partnered up with my old boss to reopen the new location in 2021. So that's me.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. We are super happy to have you on tonight. I know I am, especially with what we're going to be talking about. Derek, let's let everybody know who you are, where they can find you, all that fun stuff as well. I'm going to be saying hi to people in the chat.
I'm the dead man, Rozzy. No, I'm picking. Hey, guys, welcome back. I am happy to be here. You can find me, as always, at Autocorrect Primer on YouTube. But if you really want to find out everything we do, go to bitterteamedia.com, and that will give you a loadout of everything. So,
excellent. So we are just going to jump right into it. I do have to say, hi, Abby. Nice to have you here today. So real quick, what we always do, Nick, since this is your first time on the show, we start off with news. It's going to be some third-party reveals, comic book reveals, mainline reveals, whatever the big news is for the previous week. We'll give a couple thoughts on that, and we will just proceed with the meat and potatoes afterwards. So for our news and products today, we are going to start off with my sponsor, ShowZStore.com. To anybody that uses my reviewer code BTK, thank you so much. You help my channel grow, and I appreciate it more than you will ever know. They are currently having a post-holiday sale for the Chinese New Year. Do not miss it. $5 off any payment over 100, and you can see the rest of the chart. So go over there, start shopping, spend money, and help me get my channel going. Next up, we've got comic books. Now, Nick, this is right up your alley. These are the Void Rivals. So why don't you take the wheel for us as we talk about these Void Rival comic books?
All right. It's really small on my screen. I can't see what issue number.
Let's see if I can maximize.
Okay. What are we up to? 17, huh? So Void Rival's been going for a little while now. It's been doing pretty well. As I'm sure everybody knows, it's the lead-off book for the Energon universe. Is this more covers? Is what?
Yeah, I'm just showing off covers.
Okay. I can't see what issue numbers they are because it's
19.
Thank you. Yeah, no. So if you've been following along, they do 2 standard covers and 1 million variant covers every month. And it's been neat seeing like these random Transformers characters show up in this story, essentially about other people.
Yeah.
Neat to see the larger universe at play. And it's definitely one of the better received books. So if you're not reading it, you should go check it out.
That Energon universe is wonderful. I love it. I love everything they do there. I do love, now I'm just going to go and bring myself back to 1986 right now. The middle comic cover with Wreck-Gar and the guy that takes the blame for 5 Faces of Darkness for everything that's going on. I don't know his name. I'm sorry.
Is it Skux?
But in my mind,
like
him and his little race of people, they're like the Battle Beast toys. Like that's what I always saw them as. Those are the Battle Beasts. Season 3 gave us these wonky people. And there's Jimmy G. Jimmy G, what is up, buddy? Thank you for joining us while you're on vacation. You really shouldn't have. But either way, I'm happy to have you here. Nick and Derek are killing it, and that's just the way it goes. But yeah, that to me, I just see Battle Beasts. And I don't know. It reminds me of being at your house playing with all the Battle Beasts.
I mean, that's sort of intentional because, longtime Transformers fans will know that Battle Beasts were a sister line to Transformers in Japan.
Yes.
So it's probably no mistake that he sort of resembles a Battle Beast.
Yep.
It's Skuxoid. Skuxoid, that's his name.
That's his name. I love him. I love I love him. He's a piece of trash and he's great. All right, we are going to move on.
But you also have the Transformers has got another reprinting. They're going to come out with another print run for the first 4 issues. I saw
for the Energon universe.
What are we up to? Like the 15th printing or something on the number one?
Well, here's some of the upcoming issues. Absolutely love the fact that Megatron is using other bots for his eyes. That is just so Megatron. And the fact that they held off from giving us Megatron, right? Like they could have taken the easy route. It's Transformers, Optimus Prime, Megatron. Here we go. And instead we get this beautiful building story arc. I mean, you have Starscream with Bruticus there. I'm going to pop this up, make this a little bigger for everybody. I mean, these covers are beautiful. All the art's beautiful. Battle Beasts were known as Beast Formers and made cameos in the Headmasters anime and manga. Thank you so much, Master Farr. We appreciate that little bit of news. All right, on to toys. This is, what are these? Monster Hunters? This is a Monster Hunter Transformers crossover.
Yeah, Silver Rathalos. I don't even go here, and I'm excited.
It looks so good. It looks so good.
It's a cool little figure. I mean, who doesn't love dragons, right? Honestly.
Yeah.
Right? We all love dragons here, and who doesn't love Transformers? That's why we're here. Really cool. I don't know if it's an original mold or a remold of.
I believe it's retooling from Airazor.
Retooling
right?
for Airazor. Yeah.
Honestly, that Airazor, if we're talking Kingdom, that was a wonderful figure. I had a lot of fun with that. So I can see no issues if they're going to retool her into this character. So,
which is smart. I mean, it was a good mold, and to go right into using it as a dragon mold, I think is also very smart and original.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is, of course, the second deco on this mold. Now they have a reddish orange one coming.
Yep.
Yes,
at some point soonish.
I saw that. Abby, I agree. I love dragons too, and right in the back I've got my King Ghidorah, but he's not a dragon. He has 3 heads and no arms. But to some folks, he is a dragon, and he looks great. Here we have Nucleon Quest Ginrai. Beautiful, beautiful repaint of this mold. I do not own this mold, so I have no opinion of it. But who doesn't love Power Master Optimus Prime? I know I do. I love Ginrai. I love God Ginrai, and I'm liking that I'm seeing this Nucleon Quest coloring. Nick, Derek, what do you guys think?
I'm excited.
I know my Ginrai is coming from Hasbro
Where
this week.
You froze up on it.
I'll get to play with this. What was that me? Nice. Did I freeze up?
Yeah, you froze up. I'm getting this mold from
Hasbro. It's coming in from Hasbro this week, so I am excited to mess with the mold for the first time. So I'm excited for the black repaint. Inevitably down the road, I pre-ordered it. No,
I'm kind of hoping we get a Fire Guts just because I like Fire Guts.
Yeah,
I mean it's inevitable.
Sign me
right? So what about you, Derek? What do you think? Are you in on Masterpiece Ginrai? Are you just going to enjoy it from other?
I'm going to enjoy it from afar.
Yeah.
Dealing with the price point, and I mean, it looks gorgeous. I mean, that was like one of my first Optimus Primes that I actually got that had a trailer as a kid. So, and then my wife surprised me as our 5-year anniversary. She got it completely. It was completely. Had all the pieces and all the stickers. So yeah, I wish it was a little cheaper, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah, $299 I thought was a little steep. But listen, everything's gone up. Toys are going to go up too. So can't complain too much, right? Next up, we are going to be taking a look at Lyle Kaiser's been funded. Yeah. Pre-Victory Leo. Yeah, buddy. We're talking about Victory Leo right now. I know that Jimmy G is hyped. We talk about it almost every single day. you know, I did not back the project. It does not speak
I'm
to what I collect. I know
super
you
stoked
did,
for this.
right, Nick? You definitely
Bring on
did.
bot number 7, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do hope they bring in what is it, Def Cobra, right?
Yeah.
That's the next
Never
on
had a
the
toy
funding.
before.
I'm sure you're going to hit that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Master Farr is tempted to get Ginrai because he's heard nothing but good things about it. And you know what? I hope that's all we hear about it.
Yeah,
You know,
same
you guys
here.
know I'm a big 3P guy, but Takara told me, I mean, they're it. We want that. I want them to continue the lines. I want them to continue making these figures. Again, that's what tonight's show is all about. I'm
Yes.
really happy to see that we're going to get this figure. I'm excited. I'm going to live vicariously, though, through Jimmy at the Good, the Bad, and the Awesomes review, and maybe play with Nick's copies. So, yes, it does bring hope for Road Caesar. I would imagine we are going to see a Road Caesar in a future HasLab. Not
Especially
mainline.
since this has been backed. I definitely could see that happening easily.
So, next up, we're going to talk about my new favorite toy line. I play with these with my son all the time. You can actually get these at St. Mark's Comics, right? You sell these?
Lots and lots of them. They are I believe, our current #1 distributor. Like, we get the most stuff from them than any other source right now.
These things are fantastic. My son
over
took his
fist on these
Lucky
blockies.
Draw Optimus Prime from the Transformers 1 set. Beautiful little figure. But the news here is the vehicle mode Constructicons. They're going to combine, guys.
Surprise.
We're going to have
a
working Gestalt and in Blokies. Like, I think that is just amazing. I think that's super fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow this up because this picture here kind of shows a little bit as to what's going on. And I just think that's so fun. I think that's so cool, especially if, like, you're one of those collectors that doesn't have it in them to transform your toys. You know, I get that it can be cumbersome, especially as we get older and our vision starts to go and our hand-eye coordination doesn't really work well and our fingers hurt after 10 minutes of doing things, you know, things that come with age. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I mean, this is new for me. I mean, I just bought a whole box set of the 9 figures that had Tarn in it and put them all together, and I have fallen in love with them.
Aren't they cool?
They really
such a
are.
simple thing, but it's so satisfying to snap them together, and they're so posable for something that's, you know, MSRP is what, $7-8 on these things?
Yeah, and it's balanced. I mean, the balance. I mean, you tab them into their base, any type of position you want to put them in, kicking in the air, any action pose, absolutely. I mean, you'll see in the upcoming review where I kind of broke the tab on my Ultra Magnus, but then when I put it back on there, it was so tight and snug you couldn't even tell I did anything to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
My son loves these. He actually really utilizes the play value these things offer. He swaps their parts out, so they all look like Autobot Spike. Every one of them is a current Autobot Spike in his room.
But think of the play value in that.
Yeah,
like,
no.
It's not just a kit. It's not just an action figure. It's also infinitely customizable.
Yeah, infinitely customizable. And he loves it. He loves them. So Blokies or Blockies, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I say Blockies, but
yeah, Derek says
I've heard
Blockies
both
too. I like to be different. Okay. So they are wonderful. I'm looking forward to them. I think I have some more slides of some. Yeah, Defender version 2.0 is coming out. You've got a Golden Lagoon Soundwave there. Now
you know what I like about this? The way they do their waves is that they're sneaking in things from other places. You get a little bit of IDW, you get some Shattered Glass.
Yeah,
it's not all just
G1,
the same G1 we've seen a million times, and I really like that. Especially the Shattered Glass, because that's like my favorite thing they've ever done.
Shattered Glass is one of the coolest ideas, period, in Transformers. Now, White Ultra Magnus, not for me. I think that's the stupidest idea ever.
That'll be for me.
You know, but listen, we're all different. Now onto this odd thing that I don't really give a rat's behind about.
You're killing me, Smalls.
What's that?
You're killing me, Smalls.
Exactly. Talk about milking a mold. You've got the Supreme crossover here using the current 40th anniversary Optimus Prime mold. It's about as red as you can get. I get, we can call him Big Red, I guess. I'm not into it. What do you guys think?
Easy pass for me.
And Nick, you are the biggest completist I know. We're not going to talk about the size of your collection, but are you buying this?
This thing is glorious, and I hate Supreme, but I'm such a sucker because it's the same colors as the third iPod dock
Yes.
Prime, and I forget what the hell, Perfect Exile or something like, I don't know, some Japanese It didn't matter. It was bright red, and I bought it.
Yeah.
And this one looks pretty much the same thing except Supreme across his chest, and I'm figuring out how to get online at the Supreme store in New York City the night before to like wait to get this thing if I have to. Like whatever it takes, I will be there to buy one. I don't care.
So
As long as they will sell me one, they can take my money.
And a certain angry host that you have a show on Wednesday nights help you get into that?
I don't know if Monkey he does all the dog walking now, so I don't know if he can wait with me overnight. I'll probably wind up going with my buddy David.
Okay.
Because he's between shows right now. He's an usher on Broadway, and so he's between productions at the moment. So he's got some time off, and he can spend the night waiting online like a fool with me.
David needs to come to some karaoke parties. Really quick, Jimmy G, we need Beast Wars blockies. I would die.
Absolutely.
Take my money.
Yeah.
Every set, I will buy them. I'm annoyed with the two, Abby. It's just milking. And then Harold over here, shut up and take my money. Yeah. He's got to be a friend of Nick's. I'm just teasing. So we're going to talk about QQT Studio. These are
what's this now?
These are guys, they are making some 3D printed kits for some guest alts that we know and love. So they have a kit for the MP Raiden. Really nice. They clean it up. They bring it to them to that cartoon accuracy. Super cool. They also have a kit here for the Menasor. What the hell line is that?
That's Generations. That was
the Generations Menasor. You can just have a fully assembled Menasor and have your individual bots. I think that's really cool. But if you take a look, they made sure that Raiden and Menasor scale together.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, nice.
And I think that's super cool. I'm not big on 3D printing parts. I still can't get over seeing the lines and having to put in the work of sanding things down and resining them or fiberglassing them. But you know what? It's super cool. It's a great option for people. What do you guys think about these 3D prints and upgrading your figures with them?
I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of the 3D printed material still because it always looks so rough. It doesn't ever match. It's like that's why I'm a big fan of render form stuff because it's all molded and he does beautiful work. It takes longer, but it's gorgeous and it's always really solid. I've always been a big fan of Azim stuff.
And 3D printed stuff doesn't last long either.
Oh, really?
I mean, shelf life on it does not last as long as others.
I was not aware of that. Now there is one more kit they are doing, and that is a tune accurate Devastator kit. This is not chug scale though. This is actually developed with the Magic Square Devastator figure pieces in mind. That's what this is modeled after. There's a New Age sludge down at the bottom. The guy on the left reminds me of a hockey player for some reason.
Was that the Trains?
I'm sorry?
Was that the Trains? Was that the Raiden bot?
I believe so. I'm going to go back and take a look. I mean, I could see a goalie out of that.
Oh, because of the pads.
Yeah.
Looks like he's wearing pads.
Yeah, I could totally see a goalie there.
Yeah.
I get it, Abby. Fully get it. But, I think this is cool. I love Tune Accurate. I love the Sunbow designs, the simple, sleek look. I actually really like this. I'm not going to get it. But listen, Jimmy, you two have a great show. We can't wait to have you back. You are the heart and soul of this. So we do miss you, brother. What do you guys think, though, about this little Devastator set?
I like the clean lines of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I really like the clean lines of it. It's nice and simple in a good way.
Yep.
It has a nice silhouette to it. Like I don't do a lot of third-party stuff. I don't do Magic Square or what have you, but I can appreciate the aesthetic here. I really like that.
Nice. Thank you. I appreciate that, especially coming from the most die-hard official product buyer I know. So Now, Derek, what about you, bud? You're
for
just
me,
getting
this is
into
something
third-party legends.
I got into the new age third party legends, but for me, this is something I've always wanted Hasbro to have done. I appreciate all the details that they put into the figures, but I would love for them to come out with a line that is like completely cartoon accurate. And for a third party company doing this, I kind of feel like Hasbro's missing a market by
So,
not doing this.
while I understand
don't
your
worry.
view there, Hasbro tried that with red and blew it.
Well, because it was all still too detailed and it didn't transform. If you want like cartoon simple transformation things, don't worry, just wait another few years. They'll do it. It'll happen at some point because they got to find another way to milk
make
these
money.
characters for the next 15 years.
That's true.
So after
So
we've all got
Abby
the super
says-
detailed, hyper accurate, like chug stuff, the next one will be, back to basics.
I like the dinosaur. Abby, next time you visit, I will let you play with that dinosaur. I have it right now upstairs in a shelf somewhere because I actually have my Magic Square Dinobots on display. Next up, Weijiang. They're reissuing their Omega Supreme, and he comes with the guy that created Omega Supreme, the little robot that built him, right? That's who that is, the doctor. I forget the name from some season 2 episode. He's like 6 feet tall and he built Omega Supreme or some shit. But anyway, this is one of the nicest masterpiece scaled Omega Supremes you're ever going to see. It is not for me. I'm done with that masterpiece game, but this figure he gets a chef's kiss from me. I know you guys aren't, Nick, you're not third party, and Derek, you're not a big masterpiece guy. But what do you think of the look of this? What do you think of the the figure included? Like,
I'm excited to just see the little guy. That's cool in and of itself.
Yep.
For me, the be all end all of third party Omega Supremes was it Terminus Giganticus or whatever?
Yeah, Fans Toys, man. That thing is
that was
oh
the
my
winner.
God, that thing. I think I reviewed your copy of it.
Yeah.
That thing was incredible.
Yeah, mine's back there covered with some boxes.
Yeah, incredible. All right, I'm going to move on. I think pre-order from Mastermind Creations. We've got the Stormbringer Megatron. Super, super nice. This is masterpiece scaled.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Look at these head sculpts. Look at the options here for the head sculpts. What do you guys think of this?
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think and IDW just like it jumps off the page right at you.
Yeah, he needs himself an Autobot logo.
Yeah.
Super clean robot mode. I mean, obviously you can still see Megatron lying down, but you can also see just from that tank mode that there is thought in this transformation. And that excites me.
I thought I was done with the MMC stuff, but man, this one's calling to me.
Yeah. MMC is my favorite third-party masterpiece producer, actually.
Yeah.
They just do such good work. And if you look at this figure, you have 2 different options in regards to how you can make him look. I mean, that's just insanity. And that's going to wrap everything up in regards to our news. Now we're going into the meat and potatoes, and this is stuff where hopefully the folks in the crowd, they might ask some questions and we can just talk. Hasbro is rumored, right? This hasn't been confirmed yet, but Hasbro is rumored to be going the route of made to order figures. So you're not going to be going to Target. You're not going to be going to Walmart. You're not going to be going to, any of these big stores and seeing Transformers on the shelves anymore. You're going to be seeing these online when you order them to make, or when you go to a store like St. Mark's Comics where they ordered a ton of them and hopefully you buy them from them. Nick, Derek,
I want to define our terms here. Are we sure that they're not going to be? Because that doesn't seem right. I would imagine that it just means that Walmart will have to lock in an order that they then can't turn around and return when they're stuck with them down the road.
I don't know. I thought it was the route of the Matty collector. What?
I'm sorry. I was going to say the way it's going to work.
Here we go.
Is
why I have you on.
The way it's going to work is that you had a thing that Mattel did a while back with Matty Collector with He-Man. you would be able to have a subscription, and this is something they're still playing around with. You buy into a subscription, and you would be able to get these limited rare figures that would not make it to the shelves. So, but what this is to also do is make it where, like what my friends I was talking to, is like mom and pop comic shops and other toy little places will be able to put in, and they will lock in a number. And that number right there on how many figures will be made is all that will be made. And then it would be shipped out to the people that locked in that number. So if you have a figure that you get that's missing a gun or missing a, QC issue, that's going to be tough because you're not going to have the figure relatively, unless you can run to your Walmart, stuff like that. Walmart, Target will still be getting figures. They will be locking in figures where they will have exclusives. So you'll have Walmart, Target have more exclusives that they'll be getting. And then you'll turn around and you'll have Hasbro will then say, okay, we're going to have this order for Optimus Prime. And then everybody goes on and says, I want to have this amount allotted to my store to me. And even individual people like me or you could go on there and order it one time. There's not going to be like a max number of how many you can order. So that's going to be interesting on seeing how that plays out. But what's made, that's it.
Okay. So this is essentially HasLab on a large scale, or the TFC subscription service thing on a larger scale. This is not them changing their distribution model.
Got it. See, I was under the impression that our distribution model was changing, and we were going to have to buy our figures piece by piece, or one.
Like mainline will still exist.
Okay.
No, not like it has in the way we're used to it. We have so many different lines that you're able to go and get the GoBots for the kids. The let's say the one steps that would be more kid. Those will be more prevalently inside the store for kids and parents to be able to go in and say, I want to get this figure. Collectors that are like for the generations, you won't have a big usually we have with the generations you have like 4 runs or 4 quarters. That will shrink down to 2.5 to 3. And
the more obscure guys become the subscription thing.
Yes.
It's not crazy.
Yeah.
But because the mainline will still exist, just less of it.
Yeah, when I was on another podcast for a while back, I had information and I shared and said, look, Hasbro's going to go up on their prices and they're looking to do about a $5 sweet spot, and then they'll go up another $10, and that went for each individual line. And this was back, like 4 or 5 years ago. Well, it had been talked about on Hasbro was going, well, do we need to make specialty lines and kind of have a melt to order type thing? It was kind of, a lot of the fans were not for it because we were getting Siege at the time and we wanted everything that Siege was having to come out.
Siege was amazing. Siege blew my mind. That brought me right back to Hasbro, to be honest.
Yeah. And so with that, that's why the price point went up, was because things was Siege. The problem came, though, is that everybody wanted to have these obscure characters, but then they became shelf formers. They just, in the store because regular people didn't know who they were. Well, Hasbro, when they were doing their copyrights, was debating about whether or not we want to keep the 27 copyrights that we have from the original G1. And all we'll do is keep that name, and then we'll reissue a different style or a different look or a different mode for that character. The fans weren't for it. And so then from Siege, you got your Earthrise and so on. And so we were pumping the money out because those figures were awesome. But by the time we come up to now where we have, what is it? The Legacy line. The Legacy line kind of lost its luxury, the feel, and the fans didn't kind of stay with it. And the reason why is because you had clear plastic being painted over, a lot of cracks. You start seeing a lot of problems with the molds. You start seeing a lot of QC issues, and the fans were not buying the stuff, and they were just shelf warming. So now that they've said they're going to go as gaming, is being their big thing, because a lot of people don't realize this, but Hasbro makes more money off of board games than they do on every line that they put out.
Yeah, the margins are way better on board games.
Yeah.
And that's not just for retailers, it's better for the manufacturing too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
And so Hasbro is also looking to license out their product, which is something that, they kind of played around with. But the one good thing I'm happy about that they did say, and they have come out and said this for a definite, Hasbro will still produce Transformers and they'll produce G.I. Joe.
Correct. I had Joe Troutman on a few weeks ago.
I missed that one.
He still has his relationships with Hasbro. Granted, he's not directly working with them. He's like a freelancer, but he was able to confirm as well that Transformers and G.I. Joe will remain with Hasbro, while other brands may be licensed out to other producers.
Yes, and Mask is going to be one that's going to be licensed out. And there's a lot of other thing that Hasbro has that they're talking about licensing out. Which my wife also likes My Little Pony, but she's a big Transformer fan too, so she's all about Transformers. But My Little Pony is looking to be licensed out as a thing too.
I can't that blows my mind.
Way.
Like, to me, My Little Pony is as Hasbro as G.I. Joe and Transformers. Like,
also with the runaway insane success that G4 was, G5 didn't hit as well, but that's a fault of the Netflix fiction falling off, not the toys.
Like my wife, which is big in the My Little Pony, like she was saying, what they end up doing is what they shouldn't have done, is that they kind of got rid of the main six, and they didn't keep that type of, at least have them as back characters or something, or help bring that.
They fast forward 1,000 years in the future.
Yeah, and that didn't
it's the same universe, but essentially there's nobody exists from the previous generation. And that could have been fine, because the first movie, I mean, not to out myself as a brony here, but
I like the first. I'm not gonna lie.
The first movie of G5 was great.
Yes.
And then everything after it was unwatchable. It was like, fine kiddie fare, and if kids enjoy it, that's fine, and they should enjoy the thing. But like, I felt like they dumbed it way the hell down.
And that was Netflix's fault. It just
sort of fell off. Like, you lost a larger audience.
Yes.
In service of, well, we got to make it for this specific, and we're not having any bronies this time. And that's fine. You don't want to make a thing for me. I understand. Not everything is for me. I get that.
But you're losing the market.
You're losing. Yeah. It's just it wasn't as good in general. Not just because I didn't care for it, but it just wasn't as.
I'm going to be honest. As an artist, and I know we're talking about Transformers, but to kind of put this in context with what I think Hasbro has lost and why they're in the problem they're in right now, is that I'm an artist. I go to shows. I do art for kids. I had no idea anything about ponies. Nothing. Wife, yes, that's her cup of tea. Never pay attention. Kids are asking for a pony. I'm drawing an actual live action pony, and they're like walking around about to cry. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on with why these kids are so sad after I draw them this pony. And she's like, they're talking about My Little Pony. I said, okay. The 80s show? And she's like, no, the new one. And I kind of got in on episode 2, and I kind of got sucked into it.
Yeah.
The thing is that Hasbro has lost who their audience is over all their brands.
Well, I kind of blame that with Netflix, because Netflix dropped the ball with Transformers. I love the 3 series, but they didn't feel complete. And they can blame COVID, they can blame whatever they want, but it missed the mark. And I don't blame Hasbro for that. I think Netflix didn't know the IP that they were working with, and they just said, okay, this is good enough. Here you go. You've got a new Transformers.
They had specific demands about it must be for this age group.
Yeah, no, that's wrong.
And I've worked where I've worked on a movie that was for Netflix, and it's a nightmare to work for Netflix and all their regulations and stuff that they put on you. It's an absolutely horrible nightmare. And I would never work. And when I had an opportunity to work again, I was like, no, that's an easy pass. I don't need that money. But that's
not to get too far afield here, but then like, it's amazing that they get any amazing hits at all. Like, you've got Nimona was just a fantastic film. You get some of their adult animation winds up being big hits like BoJack or Big Mouth. But then you get things like Dead End Paranormal Park, which should have gone on for several more seasons, and they didn't know what to do with it, and it died after I think 2 seasons and ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and didn't finish
then
out.
You get Hilda for 5 seasons in a movie, and Hilda's fantastic. So it's very uneven, and I just not surprising to me that working for them can be a nightmare.
Absolutely.
So now I'm going to bring us back to Hasbro. Sorry,
yeah,
boys.
that's what I was going to say.
Sorry, yeah.
Tonight's conversation is Hasbro, their future, and their building. As you brought up, Nick, Derek as well, they've got the original 26 characters, right? Let's call it. They want to keep them rotating and not lose, the names and all that stuff. But I feel like at this point, right, how many Optimus Primes can I buy? How many Rodimus Primes can I buy? How many Springers can I buy? And they probably never will, but we haven't had new characters since I want to say Transformers Cybertron, right? Like, I want new characters.
No, because they introduced a couple of new guys on Cyberverse for sure. Was it Wild Wheel or whatever the fuck? Sorry,
and Earthspark too.
Earthspark,
So there
Earthspark
are
has
new characters being introduced in the fiction, which brings me to another point I want to make. Every character is someone's favorite.
Correct.
And the way that you push this stuff isn't by going back to the same 27 guys. You make new fiction with different guys. You change the cast up. You tell new stories.
Yes.
The beautiful thing about the IDW stuff is that they were pulling from all over. And they introduced an entire new generation and a new demographic to Transformers.
I mean, they killed Bumblebee in the first 5 frames.
No, not the Skybound stuff.
No,
you're talking
that's where you got
IDW.
Tarn and other characters like that.
Like Clonus and his lover and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Where you got new heart and new character developments that you would never see.
Rewind and Chrome Dome.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And I'm all for that. I love that. I just don't want to keep getting the same recycled stuff over. It makes it hard to spend my money. And as a parent, and I'm not saying that I'm one of those parents because I'm not, but imagine being a parent that doesn't know the lore, that doesn't know what's going on, and they just keep seeing these same characters. Like, how many times is a parent that's just buying their kid a toy going to buy that same character?
Can I tell you, we cannot sell He-Man toys in my store.
That's what I was going to
say.
They
can't sell He-Man toys at Target. I just went to Target
today. There is a slavish devotion in that fandom. It must be exactly the same every single time, or else we're going to rage about it.
Yeah, and that's what I was.
Wait till that movie comes out.
They're going to hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's going to be a nightmare for them. I mean,
look at how they tore She-Ra to shreds, even though it's one of the best shows on Netflix. They did something different. They dared to do something different, and all they do is bitch.
Yeah, and my wife loved it, and she's like, I like She-Ra, and I would never ever really paid it any attention, but I enjoyed it.
Idris Elba's playing Man-at-Arms, right?
Yeah.
And then they've got some Italian chick playing Tila. Wait until they're like, how is that her dad? Like, I can't wait for the people to get all pissed off about that.
But my point about that is that you can't sell those toys in the mass market anymore because kids don't care. You have successfully made kids not care.
No. So you had bought Billy a He-Man and a Skeletor, right? And Battle Cat.
Right.
Which he still plays with. He still plays with all 3 of those toys today. Right. So we're going 3 years back with these figures.
Mm-hmm.
But he, again, swaps these pieces out. Like, they pull apart and he makes his own guys out of them.
Yeah.
But still, though, when we go to the store, it's never, let's look at those He-Man toys. That does not happen.
No.
And
you got to have something that draws in the new audience, that keeps the brand fresh, that keeps the stuff selling. Yes. You can't just sell to the same 10 guys.
And it's like with Hasbro, I think with Hasbro, what they have to do is, even though a lot of people hated the Michael Bay, but it brought new fans into, and they look different. And I mean, a lot of Transformer fans had hated, especially G1 fans hated it. But the
I
thing
mean, I'm
is
sure
that
there's
it
people
brought
that
in a
like
new
learning
generation. What's
the
that?
sex laws of Texas.
Look, content of those movies is
Oh, we're losing Nick.
outside.
Listen, I loved that we got Transformers on the big screen. And I agree with Derek. I love that they brought a way wider audience, right? But they didn't give us Transformers that you could actually see what they were doing on the screen. It was so much
Yeah.
parts
Too many parts.
that were moving. And, and then Bumblebee finally did it right? Like we can all agree Bumblebee is the best of the live action movies.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Absolutely.
And then, Paul, how we doing, bud? We are discussing Hasbro and what they've done right, what they've done wrong. And welcome to the show. And then they brought out Rise of the Beasts and cut out like a quarter of the movie and gave us like snippets of what we were supposed to get. Like, how do you give us Beast Wars for 15 minutes on screen and not even have areas are transformed, Rhinox talk? Like, you hired David Sobloff, I think that's how you say his name. He voiced Depth Charge. You hired him to be Rhinox, and he doesn't speak. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So they just blew it. It really just blows my mind. So Hasbro, again, as we've been discussing, they are trying this new subscription base. I'm wondering now, I do not pay for a Hasbro Pulse membership, right? I don't do it. I don't buy enough to warrant the cost. Do you think, Nick or Derek, do you think they might maybe say, hey, you're spending X amount a month for an extra $5 a month, you could be part of the subscription service and you'll get a figure every other month or whatever it may be?
I am sure that there will be some perk tied to your Pulse membership.
Yes, I do too.
Because why else would you do it?
Yeah, like you have to.
Yeah. There has to be some kind of perk, whether it's a discount on the subscription service, whether it's get yours first, or like here's your exclusive because you're a Pulse member.
That's what I was going to say.
It's really
do you think they might
into
do
the
like
cost of a subscription anyway, kind of thing,
Like you're going to get like maybe an annual figure. Like, hey, here you go. You're going to get this one figure, like they used to do with the magazine subscription.
Yeah,
and
with
you'd
the
get the
FCC,
combiner
you'd
parts.
get your annual membership figure.
Yeah. The way they did it with Matty Collector, because I actually did Matty Collector. When you had the figures, and you had your subscription in, you had your figures that came in, and then you had these little perks of going, hey, you're going to be the first one to be able to get this rare character. And, from the Four Horsemen who designed those, which I thought was awesome.
Beautiful.
Guys.
Yeah. And, they always had extra little things that they did with the stuff. Like the lion ends up having like Lion-O's sword. If you really look at it, he has actually the sword to Lion-O, which is from another company. I think Hasbro will have to do the same thing. And I think if they look at subscriptions, I think a lot of people are now basing their subscriptions based off of how Fortnite does it. Fortnite has killed it with their subscription monthly, where you had where you're just buying into the game and the game's free at first, and then as they came out with more skins, you're wanting to get those skins. Then they came out with the subscription fee for that, and then you get a limited edition skin from Fortnite every single time a new chapter comes out. If Hasbro does it right, I think that's what they would have to do. They have to be like, okay, here is something for our loyal fans, and then this will get out there where reviewers who are loyal will then also have this limited edition figure, like what we saw with the Ultra Magnus and the figure that Hasbro's never put out. The one that built. And that's something I could see Hasbro doing, and that would be smart on their end. That would get people to buy in more, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for more money coming in that's going to be stable, because I think their nest egg of what they were banking off with the movies is the same thing they did with the cartoons, except it's shorter span, because we're the only generation that really collects anything. It's and that's something Hasbro had been. They had Marvel Comics, and you got the comic books, and they were $1. You go to your comic book store, you get that. You still got this continuation story. If Hasbro is smart, that's what they would go back. They would use Skybound to say, okay, let's do these one-shot limited edition comics, or something like that. And with that incentive and word of mouth getting out, more and more people will buy in.
That almost sounds exactly like a thing I've been railing about for years. Is like if they would have just done in the same way that like DC occasionally did the direct to DVD movies.
Yeah.
If they had done like a comic packed in with a figure, like, oh, here's this exclusive, glyph or tap out, and it comes with the Valentine's Day special.
Yeah.
I would
like,
love that.
Just do that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Do the comic that goes with the figure, sell it as a package.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that way you have your lore, you can understand the character, a little bit of arc in there. That's good stuff. I'd be into that.
That's the thing that the current Hasbro seems to have lost the thread on, is that the fiction pushes the sales.
The fiction's everything, everything. So I love these thoughts, but like I feel like Hasbro hasn't even been able to manage properly selling crowdfunding. So how are they going to get a? Okay,
in general, I
maybe
agree with you. I will
did.
say that this time they finally got it right.
This time it was done right. But
Yeah.
how many times before was it questionable? Or
But
like you scratch your head and say, that's not how you do this.
Why would you put this thing that no one wants as like the tier? Like that doesn't push the sales, man. You got to push the sales. Put the thing that people actually want.
You have a CEO that's a gamer. And that's going to be the big change in things. Gamers think a different way. They look at, like I said, with Fortnite, they look at skins. That's why McFarlane for a while there was selling figures that you're going to get digitally, and people were buying them.
Mm-hmm.
Gamers are that same way.
That a few times.
What now?
No, Nick and I talked about that digital stuff a few times.
Yeah,
that's all.
So, you have a new thing that they're coming out with. Is called Exodus. And their push for the game is also to be a push for like GameStop and stuff like that to have figures to go with. You have a gamer mindset of a CEO. He's going to look at these incentives and saying, okay, this is why this didn't work, because you didn't have enough oomph behind it. How can we get that oomph behind it? And with that, I think that's why he has shrunk down their toy line and pushing their gamer line, is to show that there's this bigger audience out there that you're missing. And I think
how upset must they be about this Transformers game that fell apart?
The guy wasn't even developing it. From
not at all. He wasn't developing it.
Played them
the whole time. I
don't know nothing about nothing on the back end of this, but just you plan all these toys, you start to do something with it, and then nothing comes of it. Like that had to really throw a wrench in the works for them.
Well, absolutely. That all came before the new CEO, though. That's the problem that Hasbro was doing, is that they were throwing everything out there and letting these people come in with their low bids and say, we're going to do this. And then if they didn't follow it through, they could just write it off. That only works for so long. That's why their whole movie line, they had to sell it. That's the reason why they bought into Power Rangers, which I like Power Rangers, but they didn't know what to do with it.
No,
and
the Lightning collection was great, but it wasn't leveraged right.
Yeah, and
everything can't just be Mighty Morphin. I know Mighty Morphin is the big seller, but like,
right,
you have to figure out. You've got 30 years at this point of continuity to be leveraging and like selling, and like, okay, everybody loves Mighty Morphin,
but nobody. I mean, that's nobody remembers because it's not something that's continuation.
Yeah.
Hasbro has pumped out too much money, and this is what happens with big companies. For a while there, they throw out all this money and hoping that something's going to stick to the wall, and that's kind of like. And then when it doesn't, eventually your money starts to dwindle down.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say take Transformers 1, right?
Yeah.
Transformers 1 is perfect. It is. I watch it weekly.
It was great. It's a shame that they didn't know how to advertise it.
Yeah, how did they not know how to advertise this movie? Like, there's no reason that movie.
Did someone not watch it?
I know, right?
To cut a trailer, because Jesus.
Hold on. So we got Harold Britt over here. I'm jumping in with the folks in the lobby here.
Exactly, Harold.
you
Harold
Yes.
gets it. You got these other Rangers you could be making money on, and like all they ever do is go back to the Mighty Morphin well.
I don't know. I will say though that Lord Zed they made was fantastic. I'm not
That's still
gonna
Mighty
lie.
Morphin.
Yeah, so good though. So good.
Yeah.
But I would love to see some Zeo figures. Like I like the Zeo designs.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Power Rangers in space. I wasn't the Power Rangers guy. My brother loved Power Rangers. I didn't, and I should. It's robots, or it's robots and fucking kaiju's. Like it's
Yes.
everything I love, but for some reason I just didn't get into Power Rangers. My wife loves it. My brother loves it.
The original Green Ranger saga stuff still holds up. You can go back
Yeah.
and watch that. And
Yeah.
It's
a lot of fun.
fantastic.
You
I
should.
do. I do watch that. I do like the Green Ranger stuff, but it's Mecha Godzilla with a ninja assassin. Like, come on, doesn't get
He
cooler.
uses a flute.
Without any lips.
I know.
Ocarina,
Right.
Ocarina. Right. That was just at the same time as Ocarina in Time. Like it was all perfect.
Around there.
So, but I mean, I think there's a future for Hasbro. I think that I don't mind them jumping to gaming. Like if this guy's a big gamer, especially like a D&D guy, like
Yeah.
that means he understands story and development. And I really love the Machine Empire characters, but then again, I love robots all around. I mean, that's why we're here. We love our robots. Right behind me is a slew of robots. Some are big, some are small, but I love them either way. These guys, I know they do. Nick kept me going with my robots. And Derek taught me how to
And Harold's
communicate
a
with
good
the
friend
master.
of mine. He's the one that helped me a lot with robots for a while too, because I kind of backed off and he's like, hey, take a listen to a little droid and stuff like that. But the thing Hasbro has to look at is when you have a gold mine like Siege, why did it die off so quickly?
I don't think they expected it to be as big as it was.
I don't
really
know.
don't.
I mean, you take a look at the thing that they let them come into the back room, all the YouTubers and everything got to come in the back room and see it on the bed. And the numbers are going into the millions for each view for each person that was allowed to go back there.
Yep.
They knew that they hit something gold with it. I think that the problem is that they decided to go again. I put a lot of blame on Netflix because I've worked with them. I know how hard they are to work with. I think that's what killed that line as hard as it did.
Well, I mean, you
Because
got to think. Look at the Netflix series, right?
Yeah.
They do. The first one was Siege, and everybody matches their toy. It's beautiful. It's great. Different take on Ultra Magnus, different take on Bumblebee. It was really what you wanted for a new bringing of Transformers. And then they bring in was Kingdom next? What was the second part?
Earthrise and then Kingdom.
Was it Earthrise then Kingdom?
Yeah.
They bring them to Earth.
Yeah.
And they don't match the Earthrise toys. It's back to the same Siege model. So they never updated the model.
Because the budgets were limited.
No, I get that the budget's limited, but if you want to sell toys, what I see on the screen needs to be what's on the shelf.
It needs a match. Yeah.
Especially, hold on, Baka Fanboy, Hasbro.
That's David. Hi, David.
This is the David?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
All right. Hasbro needs to differentiate who they're selling things to. They can't expect maximum profits with picky as hell adults. I'm one of them. You can get away with toys for kids, but adults, I can't get the whole thing, so I'm going to read it from here.
Adults discern.
Yep, adults discern, especially adult collectors. There's a whole second line. But yeah, David, I agree fully. Thank you for joining us, by the way. It's pretty much what I was ranting about a second ago. I just feel like, again, I understand there's budgetary constraints, but there's ways to make things work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Abby, I'm not highlighting your hi, David. He could see you said hello.
And the thing that Hasbro also needs to also remember is that, yes, adults are picky and we're able to, yes, we want to buy it with our money or not. Kids are not picky. If it's bright, pop out there and they're like glued to it, a parent's going to be like, and go and see that in the store. The parent's going to be like, okay, let's see the price point. I mean, I understand a lot of people have talked about, well, their engineering and the plastic and stuff like that. That's not so much the case if you match it up to the plastic ratio of how much it costs for plastic in the past to now. The price point got higher because we adult collectors, we were, whenever you had the figures, and it was still when you, and I know this is going to be kind of hard to believe, but when you had figures that were 10 or 15 bucks, the adult collectors are going in, we're getting it, and you got the combiner wars, and they're not combining the way we want them to look. And so we complain about it. So they raised the price point, they raised up a little bit more of the quality. We bought it, we still complain. And then they kept raising the price. They gave us a little bit more, and we finally get it, and we still complained. And then we're at the price point now. We're all like, well, we can't really afford Hasbro because you're like,
oh, you talked a good game now, and you got the thing you wanted, but it cost too much money. Well, whose fault is that?
exactly. And then, and now Hasbro's like, and they're going like, well, like, for the love of God, we're trying to give you
What do you
want.
want? I'm just trying to give you what you want.
So I
We
agree
have
with
to
that.
follow all these patents and all these laws, and toys going to kids. We still got to get these to kids and
Yeah.
the store. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's going to change with this.
Well, I hope that they actually keep their current selling ideologies. I love the fact that the Voyager scale or the leader scale doesn't necessarily mean a giant figure.
Yeah.
It means you're getting a figure that does more. And
Yes.
I actually like that selling point more so than previous. Like, trust
agree
me,
with
I
that.
would love to get a leader class Megatron the size of animated Megatron. Like, I would love that. But at the same time, I don't want a giant simplified figure for this
Yes.
price I'm paying for. So give me the smaller figures, give me the more complicated engineering, but let's make that price point work out.
Give me the better paint jobs.
Yes.
Well,
And
you
I think that's
Stop deciding that a better paint job is paint on every piece. That's not what I want.
Exactly.
Because
No.
paint scuffs. What I want is detail paint.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
just coats of paint for the sake of coats of paint.
or coats of paint to cover up a plastic that we got clear. We got it cheaper to do it clear, but we're going to paint over it, and then when it scratches, you're like,
Oops, it
oh, good
shattered.
Lord.
So I'm my favorite Autobot is Rodimus Prime. All right. You know this.
Uh-huh.
That Kingdom Rodimus Prime is beautifully engineered, but his crest is clear plastic. I broke 2 of the fucking things. So I've had to buy that figure as a Rodimus Prime loyalist, because of the clear plastic.
Yes.
It really boggles my mind. I think my last version I bought, I covered with epoxy to ensure it doesn't break. But that shouldn't be. If you know you're making a piece that's going to be pointy and it's going to come down, it's going to shrink, but it's also going to be a major connecting point for when you turn this thing into vehicle mode. That should be bendy plastic, like the Studio Series Hot Rod. Studio Series Hot Rod is still the best Transformer Hasbro's put out in years to me.
I love it.
I love that figure. It's everything a Transformer should be.
Yeah, my wife, that's her favorite character. She's like, you've played with it enough, buy your own. And so I end up having to buy my own because he's such a good figure.
So good. All right, so Baka over here once again. No, not to take away from Hasbro, but ask Nick about Blockies. That stuff sells.
We did Blockies earlier, David.
We started the show talking about Blockies.
Yes.
We all love them. We all own quite a few of them, and we all will own more of them because they are so well done. And that actually brings me back to where I was going with Hasbro in the stores. My son is my best friend. Him and I are Transformers fanatics together. Nick can attest for this. We love it. Today we ran into Target, was looking for something for my wife. They didn't have it. Those little ceramic ducks in the dollar section, they're not in our area. Bummer. Anyway, they now have
Target travels. You find a Hot Wheels Magnus.
I will grab that for you in a heartbeat, but it was not on the shelf today, or else I would have grabbed him. The only Hot Wheels I've had any luck finding is a Bumblebee, and that's because you said, "Hey, check out ShopRite; they had their restock." So I've got that. But anyway,
they've been going at our place.
I'm sorry.
they've been gone. I have not seen them even on the shelf.
You can't find them here either. But what I was getting at is Hasbro has a Marvel line out at Target that they you can swap the parts. So you can swap Venom with Iron Man parts, and
They're
you
doing
can
that with
swap.
Transformers.
Yeah, they're bringing that back for Transformers as
Yeah,
well.
They need
mashups.
to. That will sell for the kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
mashups.
what's up, Derek? Derek, man, it's so good to see you here. I missed the Collector Con. My daughter was singing. She was Regina George in her school production of Mean Girls. She absolutely
talented.
slayed it. Check out my
Yes, she did.
Instagram. I put some video up. Siobhan Fallon Hogan from Saturday Night Live loved it, which was really cool. This guy here, Nicholas Prime, he got to see it live. He loved it too. But I did want to check out the Collector's Con. I didn't. You saw my clone at NJCC earlier today. It was crazy. I didn't know Robert Downey Jr. was in New Jersey. That is awesome. I'm really upset I didn't make it. Today was the G.I. Joe Day, I believe, at New Jersey Comic Con, which is pretty rad. I hope they have another one coming up in the future because this week ends theater and wrestling. My son does wrestling, so I will start to be going out and doing things. Speaking of going out and doing things, TF Con Chicago is in October. I will be there. Hopefully you will be there. I'm not going to TF Con LA though. It's just not in the cards. Anytime a convention falls on my wife's birthday, that's not happening. Simple as that. But yeah, so this Hasbro line that I was talking about with the Marvel figures, I would hope that Transformers gets to see a run like that. Any talk or rumor of things
they are. They've already got some listed. You got Bumblebee, Optimus Prime,
Primal,
Megatron. There's also, I saw a rendering of a Optimus Max. Optimus, no, excuse me. It's one of the Beast Wars characters. I can't remember which one it was now.
Isn't it a Primal that they're doing for the?
Isn't it Primal? That's what I thought.
So.
Yeah. Those I think will do really well. They had those a couple of years back. They were a huge hit when they were there. They kind of backed off of it. I love them. I still have the original mashups that they had.
The new ones are compatible with the old ones.
That's even better.
That's even better. Okay. All right.
Now, if those can be compatible with the Marvel characters, they've got a whole nother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're going to do it.
That's the whole point.
My son's going to want every one of them. You know,
what is the name of the new line? I can never keep them straight.
The mashups.
Don't know. I was being blown away by I need Skibbity toilets and I need. Skibbity toilet thing. It's the worst. And then I saw the Super 7 Serpentor on the shelf as well, which is beautiful, but not $20. Beautiful. So I mean, Hasbro, hopefully with this
Mix Smashers, that's it.
Mix Smashers, yes, they're awesome. I'm hoping that Hasbro can pull themselves out of whatever the rut they've been in with their new business models. I do like the idea of the subscription-based or made-to-order figures. I think it will help smaller stores like Nick's. I think that'll help.
If this is direct to consumer, it is less of a factor for us. I mean, at least for my shop, because anytime something is direct to consumer focused, we just let them have it. If you'll sell to me at wholesale, I'll order it. If you're going to sell it to my customer, we're only going to order less of it.
Yeah, and that was the thing I was going to bring up too, is that I think with with this, you'll probably see more generations go to that mail to order.
Makes sense.
And I think, and the stuff in the store for Walmart and Target will be their exclusives, but more of the kiddie line would be what you'll see on the shelves in the store for Hasbro.
But that makes sense. That's going to make them money. That's going to make those stores money as well. But what avenues can they take to help smaller shops get their figures? Since the death of Diamond, I mean, Diamond didn't help you.
Sell direct to us.
Yeah,
let us order from you. Stop making us chase
two
different types of wholesaler to carry your full line. Because right now, Hasbro's distribution is split between two kinds of distributors: hobby market or toy distributor, and then mass market. Yeah. And mass market can get you things like whatever the current cartoon line is, whatever the kiddie movie toys are, one-step changers, and all that stuff. Whereas the hobby market stuff is going to get you Generations and Masterpiece and the more high-end things. It's like, I need one place to get my Hasbro product, and we'll carry your full line because we have kids at 5 years old and we have kids at 45 years old, and they both want to buy your product. Just sell it direct to us and let me carry it. Stop making me middleman it.
And I think that's what's happening. I think what Hasbro is also looking at from a company wise too is that we got to cut out the middleman.
Well, unfortunately, that means us.
Well, it means on your distributor is what I'm looking at, because when you have like Diamond has been a wake up call, which I have preached about for over 10 years. It's been a living nightmare. Diamond's been Diamond's been the big wake up call of saying, okay, you can't have everything being shipped from this one place. They're not covering the orders, they're not covering damage, or they're not doing. And you know, Hasbro is probably, I think, like a lot of people with Diamond is let go. Oh my God, how much money have we lost by using this distributor? How much money could we have done if we did a direct to order or something along that line? How could we sit there and still have our product in people's hands and we keep the money? And I mean, you got DC, who have a lot of friends that work for DC, and said that, you know, and a lot of people that I know that work for Image has already came out and said they will never use Diamond ever again. And I can understand why.
As of April 1st, they're not even going to exist anymore at this point. So
at this point, yes. You do have some bids in for this stuff, but it's not enough to start for. Like I was saying earlier in the show, you have a lot of people that's lost a lot of money because Diamond said, hey, we'll just give you credit.
So I'm going to cut you off real quick. Derek agrees with you, Nick. By the way, Derek, this is Nick. He owns St. Mark's Comics in Brooklyn. Not sure if you've stopped into the store or not yet, but they're in Industry City. Awesome store. Derek's a local to us, just so you know. And the next question he asked is, did Diamond Distributors finally file Chapter 11? Is that official?
That is
2 weeks back, yeah.
So there you have it. So I just want to make sure that the people asking questions get, the right responses. And all
the Cliff's Notes is they filed Chapter 11, and then a couple weeks after that said, oh, and by the way, if we can't find a buyer, we have to cease operations as of April 1st because we don't have them financing to continue beyond that.
Well, it's also because the courts looked at stuff and it looks like it could go to a Chapter 13, which is a whole nother, and that's something that hasn't really been released to everyone yet, but that's what they're talking about, April 1st. If they can't find somebody, then you're looking at Chapter 13. And right now, Chapter 11 is restructuring.
Right.
Chapter
that
13.
Is just crazy. So Baca over here stated, when Bandai acquired Bluefin, it was easier to get SHF. Who doesn't love those figures? Never did I imagine that Bandai would open a permanent store location. It also brings less scalpers and flippers. If Hasbro can parallel that, they'd see more success. I would love that.
Well, they have a test store in UK right now.
Do they?
Yeah, they have a Hasbro store in the UK, and it's based off of Transformers.
I'm gonna chime in for a second here. Anytime a manufacturer goes and opens a store, it lasts for 5 minutes because they go, oh, retail is hard and it's expensive and we can't make that work. And so,
well, I mean,
I wouldn't count on it.
Warhammer, I'm a big into
Warhammer's a different animal.
But
it works on an entirely different cost model.
but with Warhammer, their business model of how they do things, that's how it works, and how you keep a product fresh, new, and people that don't have a clue who it is now are like, hey, I just watched this thing called, Secret Level, and what the hell was this that I just saw where this guy's just going around killing everybody, and that's how you keep it fresh, where you get these little Easter eggs. And I think that's what Hasbro's got to do. They got to throw out Easter eggs. And with this game that fell through, I've already heard that the guy that CEO has already said he's coming out with a board game, a tabletop for Transformers. That is already a go. He's already got that plan for G.I. Joe also for tabletop. A lot of the guys that do tabletop that I know are like, hey, there's this traction saying, hey, you're big into Transformers. They're talking about, you think there's something structured to that? And I was like, well, they kind of helped out Marvel with their tabletop, so I think it would be smart if they go that route, but they also have to make sure that they don't forget what got them where they are, and that's people like us, the ones that bought their figures all 40 years. They kept this line alive for 40 years, and that's that's what I'm really hoping that Hasbro takes away from everything, all the money that they've lost, and why they had to sell off all the props to the TV shows for Power Rangers was to make back
That
their
money.
deficit.
Well, yeah. So Derek says that he hopes that
Diamond distribution.
Diamond gets it back together, but at the same time, it opens up small incoming distributors who are getting better structure to take the opportunity to get that business. If those smaller distributors can help stores out, what do you think?
Here's what I will say about the whole Diamond thing. Diamond did a lot of stuff really good, but what they did bad is what cost them in the long run, and nobody was rooting against them, or at least nobody who's been in the business long enough was rooting against them.
Exactly.
We wanted Diamond to figure out, oh wait, these guys are our partners, we should be taking better care of them, and not to, well, do this. So I don't know that there is one distributor active right now that is great and is fantastic, and we love having them as our distributor. And then there's the other distributor that exists right now is a distributor that exists right now, and we must do business with, and we will do as little business as possible with, even though I'm fond of them personally. I'm not a big fan of, what can I say in public? There are issues with the structure behind the scenes that give me pause, and I'd rather not be giving them my business, my money.
Yeah, because if I'm thinking who you're referring to, that just helps out their personal structure. Yeah, I know. Okay. Gotcha.
It's funny to have two comic guys on like at the same time. Like, just saying, like, it's just funny. I'm loving it. Abby's agreeing. Abby's saying yes. So Abby knows what you're talking about. I'm just going to stay here in the dark and say, yes, I agree.
I'll fill you in later, buddy.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I trust you. I trust you fully. I don't know. We got about 15 minutes left. We usually wrap up around 11 o'clock. All in all, what do you guys think? Because again, this show, it's gone to a couple different places. It was mainly Hasbro's future and distribution and what they're going to be doing. We know they're going to be focusing on specific brands moving forward. They're not going to have their hand in as many pots. What do you guys think? How do you feel? Do you feel comfortable or confident in what Hasbro is going to be doing with our brand, our meat and potatoes, our Transformers? How do we feel?
To wrap up my whole point earlier that maybe I got a little tangentially off on, it's a shame that the other brands they own don't have fiction pushing them to keep them relevant and keep them popular and keep them a thing that Hasbro can make and profit off of. It's a shame that they have to take these properties elsewhere.
Yeah.
No, you froze. You froze up.
It's a shame that they have to take these properties elsewhere instead of figuring out how to leverage good fiction somewhere for them, whether it be a cartoon or a movie or a comic book, something to drive sales on toys.
Yeah, because I believe Playmates is doing Power Rangers now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And which is, Playmates is a great company. They do great product. We love their stuff. You couldn't make that go. you couldn't.
It's the same thing with Mask. It's like, you have a huge audience for Mask.
Exactly. That's the killer for me.
Yeah, and you're going somewhere else. And I'm like, okay.
It's like, I get that they have trouble with G.I. Joe because military toys can be a difficult sell in every market.
Yes.
it doesn't work everywhere for everybody. And that's fine. I love G.I. Joe. I like it better when it's lasers and
Yes.
futuristic troopers and things. And I know that that's not popular with the hardcore Joe guys. They like the
I don't know. I
more
loved like
gun-based
Tiger
guys.
Force.
Sci-fi was my favorite of the 85 guys,
especially when they had the
whatever it
mutants
was.
and stuff. Yeah.
So, I mean, the character
yeah.
name Sci-Fi with
the bright green,
suit
yes,
and the laser trim.
Yeah.
I loved him. Anyway, it's a shame that they can't properly leverage these properties to get more of these things out under their own banner. If someone wants to pay you money to license it, God bless, take the money, of course. But you run the risk of
them dying and being
watering down the brands, I guess.
The way I look at it is like this, and this is I look at Hasbro right now as I look at what happened with from comic books. If you've been in for a while, Malibu Comics, and then Cross Gen, and then who ended up buying those properties of all those characters, and then that company got bought by a bigger company, and you'll never see any of those characters, and they were great characters. They're now obscure.
Except when they need to renew the copyrights, because that's when they do.
I forgot all about Malibu Comics, but now I'm like, I can see the logo in my head.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if Hasbro looks at it and says, okay, I want to keep our strong audience, our strong money base out of toy wise is Transformers, hands down. When it comes to action figures, that actually makes more money than they do with Star Wars and with Marvel. I am seeing something with those properties that may be changing, where they're not forking out so much money to Disney for those properties. And you kind of saw that if you know what Spider-Man I'm talking about, the new one that's going to have the webbing and everything, and that's how they're going to start doing those lines. Is more geared that way. But if they do Transformers where they keep the cost where it is, but they keep the quality going, or if they do the online where you can get the figures, they're going to have to get back to storytelling. That's the only thing that's going to save them over everything. I've said this from the very start. I have always said and been where I would love for Hasbro to break out all new characters. I know that they tried this whenever they came out with the Transformers that were probably toilet brush and a toilet, and and they had this one little cartoon on Netflix. Okay, that's the BotBots.
BotBots is cute as hell. I love
those toys.
I mean, I have them all over the house. My wife and I used to buy them and put them in different places and hide and see who would find which one. Or leave on the counter saying,
I'm trying to army build that rubber ducky if anybody has extras.
Oh, okay. I'll look and see if I do. But yeah, my wife would also put them on the counter and say, this is what I want you to do for dinner. Or this, those are smart toys. The problem is that
the biggest failing of BotBots is that the fiction came too late. Way too late.
No, I think with this
they were 5 waves in, 6 waves in, and then oh, by the way, here's a cartoon for toys that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, that you couldn't find because Billy got into the show and I couldn't find the figures.
Yeah. I think that Hasbro is now having to take a step back and say, okay, 2 properties that we know for an absolute fact is going to sell is G.I. Joe and Transformers. Why? Because we have an older fan base that's going to be willing to put that money in there. But Hasbro as a company, if they're going to do future licensing, I think it is smart going on the video gaming. I think with this new thing coming out with Exodus, this is all new IP for them. First time they come up with a brand new IP in years.
I'll give it a shot.
I am. I'm ready to get my pre-order for it.
See, I think that the video game route is a great road for them, for Hasbro, just because all kids do anymore is video games, cell phone video games, iPad video games, computer games, Xbox, PlayStation. Like you are in an electronic world right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how cool is that, by the way? I mean, come on. That's the best little screensaver ever.
Yes.
Little washed out.
Megatron.
It's Megatron holding Spider-Man on his finger.
That's nice.
Oh, okay. From the new Avengers.
So freaking cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, like damn straight, these kids would see a video game character and they would jump all over it. That's like my son. If there's a character he knows, like that's the first thing he's going to. Now fortunately he knows a lot of these other characters because I watch the shows with him. But parents today are busy. Everybody's got to work. Everybody's got to try to make money. Nothing's going to get cheaper in the future. So more work, more work, more work. So these kids are more electronics, more electronics, more electronics. Not that I think it's the way to go, but it's what's happening. Let's
Somebody's gotta kill the
yeah,
babies.
exactly. So I think the gaming is a great way to go. They just need to put out quality games.
Yes.
Right? They can't just jump on it. Devastation was a great game, but it was short. And you didn't feel like you spent $60 on a full game. $30 game, that thing would have been incredible. So they have to find a place. They put Transformers in Fortnite. I have Megatron, I have Bumblebee, I've got Optimus, I've got Optimus Primal, and I've got the Battle Bus. They all transform. It's pretty cool. But, more skins like that.
Wait. They did a Battle Bus that transforms?
Yes, they did.
Where's that
toy?
toy?
I would too.
Where's that toy? How do you do that? Have that big crossover and then not make a toy?
It's a really good design. It's a really good design. Like you don't mind playing as this character. It works. And it is what it is. Like they did, I think
that's astonishing. I had no idea because I don't go here. But like I would have bought that toy. Like I understand what it is.
It's a pretty cool design. I think that the gaming is a great way to bring in the money that you've been losing. Reset. Hit that reset button.
Yes.
We can wait. If you got to give us 3 waves instead of 4, that's fine. But make them quality and make them make it so we can get them.
Yes.
I can't find 90% of these figures. I don't have the pot to pre-order every figure the day they are listed. I raise 3 children. It's not going to happen. So I'm the guy that I go to the store, and if I see them on the shelf and it looks good, I'm going to pick it up. But I don't see them on the shelves. Our distribution and Nick and I are from the same area. Our distribution is god awful. Right? I think I just saw Silverbolt today, Legacy Silverbolt for like the first time, not including your copies, but like on the shelf was Legacy Silverbolt today. And then other than that, it was all like the one-step figures that don't sell. It's mind-blowing.
And the other thing I think that I am happy that Hasbro is going to do is that you're not going to have huge return policy. When you buy to order, you're buying to order. It's not going to be something I order, I didn't really care for it, and you send it back. Because that's what Walmart and Target do. And if they have something that someone was too lazy to take off a pallet and put it back on and put it on the shelf, and it's sitting in the back, what was happening is
this didn't fit in our planogram.
And then they're going, and they're sending it back to Hasbro, and they're having to eat that cost because now they're having to give Walmart a refund check. That's what's really hurt them.
Okay, but if I will return a figure, I don't care about returning a figure. If I hold a figure up to the light and I can see through my figure, I'm not happy with the $40. You wave your fist. My Siege Springer crumbled in my hands. That's not right.
No.
Like, charge me. Go for it. I'll pay $5 more if it means I'm going to have a thicker figure.
And I think that's what we're going to see.
That's all. Like, I don't care about the price if it's a quality figure. Look what I spend on Legend.
You know, that's an interesting thing. You said charge me $5 more, and I wonder if a subscription service won't allow them to eschew the traditional price points. They won't be beholden to deluxe.
I would love that. I would love that. You're paying,
and maybe we would actually get Prime Breakdown this time, even though he doesn't fit into the pricing structure.
That I forgot to mention too. Hasbro, by doing this, they're not going to be wrapped into by the laws of the land, so to speak. I can't have Megatron be a gun anymore. With this, they'll be able to do that because there's different rules for and this is how it is even with books that you sell. It's more lax if it's a adult collector, and if they position it this way, there's going to be things that they can probably get away with that if they put it in the store, they have to follow this certain diagram, this certain point, and how much plastic can bend and can be sharp and can't be sharp. If it's like how Mattel did it, the figures are thicker, stronger, and better. And the reason why is you're buying it online and you're going from adult to adult. You're skipping that whole kit. Everything else is, if you buy it, then you're saying I'm buying it as an adult, then they can sell it as an adult thing.
I will see the better materials, better durability. I still don't know that we will ever see Megatron's gun ever again, no matter
Okay,
what they
what
do.
if they did
I
it
don't
like
think that's
the
happening.
classic, the
either.
Nerf
I've
gun
just used it.
Megatron? I loved that figure.
Nerf gun Megatron was great, and that's the closest we're
I
ever going to
agree.
get.
I just think that what I was trying to use is the quality and the rules they have to follow.
Yes. Yeah, the drop tests are different.
Yeah, everything else is a whole lot, different when it comes to that. And
right.
I mean, that's why you have third party can make figures like this, Yeah. Or like what Billy has.
Third party can make third party things because they don't even bother
exactly.
with safety testing.
Exactly.
This is a fun figure that third party, though. I think New Age did kind of drop the ball a little because he's smaller than Earthrise Prime.
No,
yeah,
really?
He's a little bit smaller, but he's well made. He looks good. He feels good. Look how clean the back of that figure is. Let me turn my light.
It's a nice ass.
So, listen, he's got a great ass.
He does a lot of squats.
All right. I mean, look how clean that is.
He's getting the lights down.
Yeah, I'm dimming my lights. It's getting romantic. Look at how clean that is.
I
mean, yeah, the forearms are a little wonky for me. But I mean, that's a nice figure, If we can get that from Hasbro with this new policy, I back that. Granted, I don't think we will. I think the closest we'll get is Shockwave actually being a space cannon.
Submarine.
Space cannon.
Submarine.
But all in all, I think there is a bright future with Hasbro taking on these new policies. I think everything is a step in the right direction. And I really look forward to what is coming in the future.
As a Hasbro fan, I'm extremely excited.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm inclined to agree. I think that a subscription model. I mean, we've seen it before for the TFSS, and if this follows similarly with obscure shit that's for the nerds at a higher price point, it'll be great.
Just make sure,
even if it slows down generations in the mass market, that's fine.
And I'm fine with that.
I agree. I think we all kind of see it the same way, which is great. I didn't know if we were going.
I can finally get a new glyph and a new tap out, whatever it goddamn takes.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, we just got animated Wasp, right? I wasn't expecting to see that.
Yeah.
We can use that mold. No,
only 17 years too late.
It is what it is. I still watch animated. I love that show.
No, that's great.
That's great. I love that show.
I'd love to have seen a fourth season.
Yeah, who wouldn't have?
Who
wouldn't have? I really do hope though they give us a release of the animated Megatron. Like that's a figure I would break my rules for. Like
no,
me too. I think that's such a cool design. Granted, those figures were pretty much perfect. You really don't need to re-release or remake any of them. But I would cave for Megatron and I'd cave for the Ultra Magnus. I mean, both were such good design.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially Ultra Magnus.
I really like the Magnus alt mode. That I don't even know what you would call it. It's like a big SWAT tank, basically. But great.
It's fantastic. But with that, Abby, why does universe have Waspinator? I agree. I love me some Waspinator. He is everything. But I also love me some Beast Wars. Greatest Transformers series we ever got.
Best Megatron ever.
That I want to thank Nick, Derek. I want to thank you both. We are going to end this show. It's just at that time. But before we go, Derek, where can people find you?
Like I said, you can find me here on YouTube at Autocorrect Primer, or just check out Bitter Tea, like TEA media.com, and you'll find everything that we do.
And then Nick, let's hear it. Where can we find you? Where's St. Mark's? So you got any cool promotions running? Like what's going on with St. Mark's?
I'm gonna plug all my other stuff right now, if
Plug
that's
away,
okay.
please. You're here.
You can find me occasionally on TFYLP, which is another YouTube channel for Transformer stuff. You can find me every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock on Nick and Jason's Infinite Pain List, which is a show we do on Twitch, where we watch really bad movies while we get drunk.
It is like an adult version of Mystery Science Theater 3000. It is
Nice.
fantastic. You should check it out. Absolutely. Sorry to cut you off. I just really wanted to plug it. 'Cause I love it.
Twitch.com/monkeybrains Inc. INK. And of course, my shop is in Brooklyn, in New York City, in Industry City in Sunset Park. St. Mark's Comics, stmarkscomics.com, STMARKS comics.com.
Great store.
We ship anywhere in the US and Canada, and I think even the UK. So you can, always buy stuff off our website. We'll ship you blockies, all the blockies you want. We got plenty, and there's more coming every
I love
week.
that. That is wonderful. Well, listen, both of you, thank you so much. I truly appreciated having you guys as my guest this week, since we don't have Jimmy G. Jimmy will be back.
Thanks for having us.
I'm sorry?
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. It was great to be
here.
here.
I loved it. I think it was a great show. I hope the fans liked it. Infinite Pain is not a lie. I agree. It is definitely something to behold. Yeah, go watch their streaming of Carnosaur, right? That was the name of that friggin' masterpiece of a movie. All right. Good night, everybody. We will see you guys next week. I have no idea who my special guests are going to be. So if you want, you can reach out to me on either Facebook or at the Forge 2005, the Forge Live 2005 at gmail.com. Sorry, guys, I had a little bit of a brain fart. It's been a long week. Thank you so much.